You said you've been making millions of dollars with it. Come on, man. Bless us with your strategy.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Profits and Palm Trees. I'm your host, AJ Casada, here with
Harvey Lay, founder of Legacy Gold Market.
Today's episode is all about growth hacking. And because we're going to be sharing unconventional strategies to help you grow, we figured we would do this in an unconventional, unpractical location here at the beach by the water. I don't think there's ever been a podcast filmed this close to the water without being actually in the water before.
The water is touching our feet. We're like falling over.
Yeah.
Our feet's touching the sand, but this happens.
Good. We're getting good energy from the ground, good positive ions, whatever they call it.
This is touching grass, the kids calling it.
Exactly.
Touching sand.
Except the beach version.
Exactly.
It's not very practical because at any moment the water could come and just wash the cameras away and Harvey's phone right there, although you need a new phone anyway because your screen is completely fucked up. But anyways, we wanted to give you guys some good scenery. So let's talk about growth hacking now. Now, let me just define the term first, right? Because, I mean, a lot of marketers like to just invent terms, right? I think we have more, like we need, like someone needs to invent like a glossary for marketing, right? But the way I look at growth hacking is kind of like unique, unconventional strategies to grow that are non-obvious. And really, I look at it like getting the most bang for your buck. Like we're going to be talking about strategies that are low cost or free, but can get you outlier returns, right? So growth hacking is kind of like looking for the biggest ratio between what you put in, you know, time or money, and what you can get out of it, right? So I'm going to be sharing one strategy that took me like, I don't even know, like a couple of hours, but made me over $500,000 in revenue. That's going to be really cool. So stay the whole time to hear that one, right? But yeah, growth hacking to me is, again, just finding those gaps, right? Finding those unique opportunities that maybe not everyone else is trying. And this will show you that even with little marketing budget or no marketing budget, you can still make some magic happen with some creativity, right? So let's get into it. Do you want to share one?
Well, actually, it's your idea, so why don't you bless us with your first growth hacking tip? You said you've been making millions of dollars with it. Come on, man. Bless us with your strategy.
So I've got a couple of ideas written down here, right? I'm going to just rattle off a bunch. Should I start off with my favorite one? Let me do that. Let me start off with my favorite growth hacking strategy I've ever done. This is the one that I mentioned that made over $500,000 in revenue, right? So when I first started Revenue Boost, I reached out to one of the biggest influencers in our niche. He had over 2 million YouTube subscribers. I talked about this a little bit on another podcast before. But basically, I cold emailed him and I said, hey, I'd like to be on your YouTube channel. I'd like to deliver a presentation about cold outreach because I see that nobody in your channel has talked about this topic before and I know it's valuable to your audience, right? And to my surprise, I had no business, no website yet, right? Before I started Revenue Boost. And he said yes. He didn't say yes. He'd say, let's have a call with my producer. I met his producer. And then eventually we landed the collaboration. Well, once we actually did the YouTube live and we got 40,000 views, I got 1,000 members in my new Facebook community, a flurry of sales calls, probably for like 3 to 4 months. My calendar was just filled with sales calls, right? Because on the YouTube live, I gave a great presentation for 2 hours. And then I said to everyone, hey guys, I'm going to give you free email templates, a bunch more free stuff if you click the link below and join my Facebook group. So people have like listened to me for 2 hours, learned a lot, really built that connection, seen that I know my stuff. And then they wanted to join my Facebook group. And once they're in my Facebook group, then I could basically DM them, right? So when I started, it was just me and my wife DMing every Facebook group member saying, hey, how can I help you, right? Imagine this. Imagine you join a community, a school group, a Facebook group, and someone DMs you just saying, the owner DMs you saying, hey, thanks for being here. How can I help you? What do you want to see, right? What resources do you want, right? And then we would turn those into setting conversations and book calls. And then eventually we hired other appointment setters to basically do that for us, right? But the strategy that really worked was landing the right distribution opportunity, right? So there's a difference between marketing and distribution. Distribution is other people's audience. Marketing is building your own audience. And that's honestly like really hard. Like, I mean, I don't know. I have maybe at this point over 40,000 followers combined on everything. Not really that much, right? Good for my niche audience, but not a lot, right? When I first started, I had 0, right? I wasn't posting content online yet. So I figured, you know what? Instead of me trying to build an audience for years and waiting to get, you know, revenue in years, I need booked calls now. I need clients now, right? So I said, why don't I just go to someone else that has what I want and see what value I can offer them, right? So someone else had already spent a decade building the right audience. Why don't I just slide in there and get in front of it, right? So distribution is a wonderful hack. And honestly, it just took one cold email, right? So anyone listening today could go find a list of influencers, podcast hosts, right? YouTube people, right? People that are big on LinkedIn, do a LinkedIn live together and just say, hey, let's collaborate. Let me give value to your audience, right? And actually, like, best tip is actually like show you've done your research, right? So I researched the guy's channel. I looked at his top videos. I brought some insights, or I didn't just say like, give me your audience, right? I made sure that I was leading with value, and I really wanted to help his audience, and I did, and it was a great collaboration. And this is actually Chris Do from the future. People can Google AJ Casado the future, and they'll still see this. But I ended up meeting him in Singapore a couple of years ago, actually last year, and we've continued to be in each other's circles. So it's been a great relationship as well.
Yeah, that's actually how I found AJ the first time.
Oh, you know of this?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
I watched one of their YouTube, and I remember there was like 2021. I was 17 at the time. I was cooking some cabbage that my Asian dad think it was terrible, and listening to like how to get like clients for your business, and your video came up. I
While
watched
you're eating
it.
cabbage, I love it. I'm glad I gave you some good backdrop from the disgusting food you made.
Yeah, 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 exactly. It's like you saved me from my Asian dad, right? But that's how I found you, man. I think it like was an amazing strategy. Like you people can't believe like how this could work out for your business if you do it right, right? You don't just like, but you also shouldn't host podcasts with just like anybody, right? You shouldn't,
Yeah, I didn't just email like
some random dude, like
yeah.
some like guy from nobody, just talk about how.
No, I started with the audience. So all marketing should start with the audience, right? Or
Yeah.
the ICP, right? The ideal client. And then you work backwards from there. So I didn't start saying which podcast do I like. I said, who has my audience, right? Who has my people, right?
Mhm.
If I didn't have an audience, who's got my audience, right?
Right.
And the other cool thing was I went right to the top. The first person I emailed had 2 million YouTube subscribers, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? I think like most people probably wouldn't have done that because they would have thought, oh, I can't do that. I only have 0 followers, right?
Right.
He's too big for me, right? But I didn't let self-doubt get in the way. I just like, one thing that's helped me a lot in life and in business is when I have an idea, when I have inspiration, I act on it, right? Because inspiration has an expiration date, right? All good ideas go to waste if they're not implemented on. So the cool thing was I had the idea in the moment. I was all hyped about it. I researched his channel, sent it the email before my self-doubt could kick in. Because I bet if I didn't send that email, probably later that day, I'd be like, who am I to think I can email this guy, right? And I swear to God, when he replied, I was like, no way, he actually replied. But it was a really good learning lesson that, nothing is truly out of reach. You just have to make the first step.
No, man, that's really powerful because you should like the point of you acting on your impulse is really why we're here today creating this podcast and all the projects that we've done
Right.
for the past month. Like literally, you and I had a conversation like 2 months ago, just catching up, even though we haven't talked to each other for like 3-4 years, right?
And then you came down, and then we talked about coming down. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. And then that expanded into the
We
whole
shot an
launch pad.
idea of like, oh, dude, what if I just come down and like chill? Like I need a vacation. I want to talk to you. I want to help. Like we help each other, and then not turn into big podcasts.
Yeah.
Which then use your point too of us using other people's audience.
Yeah, for the launchpad, all the partners, the sponsors of the launchpad
Exactly.
project. Absolutely, yeah. So I
Like-
still do that strategy to this day.
Exactly. And now I'm learning from the master. I'm
Yeah.
I'm leveraging your audience, everybody else's audience, but obviously providing my own put of value into
Yeah,
it.
for sure. So I call it OPA. Make it easy to remember. Other people's audiences, right? It's just like money, right?
Nice
If you want
phrases there, marketer. Nice.
exactly. I love inventing my own acronyms phrase. That's the true sign of a good marketer, right?
Yeah,
But I mean, if we wanted to like, let's say, build or buy a resort here in Vietnam, right? We're not going to use our own money. Maybe we put 20% in, but then we go raise money from the bank. We raise money from private investors, right?
yeah.
Or we run some campaigns and generate some money, right? So you don't always need to have all the resources, right? Which I think should really excite anyone listening if you're like just starting out or if you don't have a huge marketing budget, right? And this is why I love the topic of growth hacking. I've been wanting to do a podcast on this for a long time because when you start a business, you're instantly competing with businesses that have hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, right?
Mhm.
Like there's businesses in your niche that are way bigger than you. So how do you win? You win by your creativity, right? Your resourcefulness, right? Your nimbleness, right? You're doing unconventional methods, which I
Mhm.
define as growth hacking, right? So I got another one, but do you have any?
No, just expanding on that. I just started my business now 4 months, but like you don't really think about everything that we're doing right now and today is not usual, not normal for somebody just starting their 4 months, right? 'Cause,
Oh, you mean like the marketing
the whole
strategies that you're doing?
Launchpad, everything.
Yeah, right.
People were like, "Oh man, let me just like Upwork, let me just DM people." But here I'm making a bet and running with you to like an asymmetrical bet. That's like, hey, let me pour all into this project that we're doing together. So then we get all the value from it. The brand is higher. So now like what I'm doing after is way better than what I can do.
So Launchpad is another growth hacking strategy, right? And this is cool because this hasn't actually launched yet. So it'll be fun to do another podcast a few months and see what happened. But essentially Launchpad is we took a what was a $2,000 course and we decided to make it free and even add more to it and update it and build new stuff. And we're giving away AI tools and SOPs and course material. And by giving away an insanely valuable lead magnet it's free, but it's worth more than what a lot of our competitors are charging for, we're going to get a lot of virality from it, right? And just putting that on YouTube, people don't even need to opt in for Launchpad. They can just go to YouTube and watch it, right? So I would say that this is kind of two strategies here. One is giving away an insane amount of free value. Give away so much free value to your lead magnet that you would be like scared or hesitant to give away that much for free, right? That's how you know you have a good free offer.
Yeah.
And second is just do something different than your competitors, right? Our competitors are not giving away this much free value for free. They're gatekeeping it. They're charging you only for consulting. We're giving away for free. And that just also positions us as different.
So I think one of the things that, since we're on the Launchpad, because like the comedy videos that we're doing, I'd argue that quite is low cost compared to like most marketing things.
Well, especially because we're in Vietnam.
Especially because we're in Vietnam. We got good town. We got
our boy Duke here, who's not going to charge us as much as a videographer in New York, thankfully.
Yeah. So you guys probably seen on LinkedIn the B2B marketing, the B2B posts is super boring. Like you see the templated thing. Like I can tell you probably they're using the same cost skills that
dude, most LinkedIn content sucks. Yeah, it's boring.
They like gave the same like breakdown. I'm like, yeah, man, whatever, man. But what we thought was like, man, let's do something drastically different that showed them like why people should look at it. And we look at there's really successful marketers out there that did like comedy skits to promote their product, and they went viral. So we first came up with one.
Now we have four. Now we have four. We'll keep it a secret for the viewers, but the next one coming out involves a priest and a possessed VP of sales.
Yeah, really, really weird stuff that you don't think like
shocking. Yeah, shocking. Yeah. Where we're going. I mean, at the end of the day, the first step in marketing is get attention. Without someone's attention, you can't sell them anything, right? First step is get them. Like the hard thing about today's day and age, and like digital marketing is kind of getting harder and harder. In some ways, it's getting easier because the tools are getting better, AI is getting better. But in most ways, marketing is getting harder, right? So the value of a good consultant or agency is more valuable than ever now, right? Why is it getting harder? Because the internet's noisier than ever, the social media is noisier than ever, and there's more and more people starting small businesses than ever because people are losing their jobs because of AI, because
people getting let go.
Also, AI has made it easier, and just technology in general has made it easier for someone to start a business. It's free to start a YouTube channel, right? It's free to make an agency or a consulting business, right? So it's easier, and now you can basically vibe code a SaaS product and ship it in a day, right? So because the cost of starting something new has went down, the supply will go up, right? So you got to think about how that kind of plays out in the next few consequences, right? So what does that mean? That means that your prospects have more information than ever, right? More marketing messages than ever, and more options than ever. There's more competitors they could choose from, right? And a few years ago, I saw a stat that the average person receives around 6,000 to 11,000 marketing messages per day. That's fucking insane, right? It's probably more now, right? So when you're making an ad or a cold email or whatever, right, or a video, oh fuck, we just got littered with water.
Well,
good thing your phone's over there. You should probably move your phone, dude. Yeah. Anyways, I was gonna say, so your prospects get littered with more marketing message than ever, right?
Yeah.
But you're not just competing with their attention compared to other competitors. You're not just competing with other, in your case, cold email agencies, right? You're competing with their Slack messages, their emails, their wife calling them, right? Everything, right?
I see.
So you are competing for your prospects' attention with everything else in their world, and you got to really get through quick in like 5 seconds. So that's why we're doing the comedy ads. So if you want to be a little courageous or edgy in your marketing, try some comedy, try something fun, because if it works, you'll go viral or semi-viral, and you'll get a lot of attention for free. Because here's the thing: if you make a boring commercial that's just like, "Here's my product and here's my features, and why don't you get a free trial below," right? First of all, you're gonna get swiped away really quickly, right? Swiped away faster than a 2 out of 10 on Tinder, right? But also, the thing is, again, you sound like everyone else, right? And no one's going to share that. Even if you make a decent ad, no one's going to share that. Like, so I'm not saying that talking head ads are bad. We still do those too, but they don't get shared, right? But something funny like today I saw a really funny reel. I showed it to you when you came over to my house today, right? And I sent it to 2 people, right? So why does that matter? When you have an ad that's entertaining and it's not just like a commercial, right? Like when you can focus on the entertainment value in your ad and do comedy, people will share it. They will like it. They'll comment it, which means you're going to get free reach. So maybe you paid $5,000 on Meta to promote it, but if a lot of people shared it and you got a lot of free organic reach, maybe you got 50 grand worth of exposure organically you didn't have to pay for, right? So
Exactly.
another way to look at it is this. We had a certain amount of budget that we were putting into Meta ads, and we took most of that budget and we put it into making better creatives, making all these comedy ads that you and I have been doing. So like that's growth hacking at its finest right there, right? $1,000 spent on producing a comedy ad, for example, right? Which would be a pretty basic one, but it's, you know, cheaper here in Vietnam. But I mean, it's cheap because we're doing the acting and directing ourselves, right?
Yeah.
More expensive if you hire a company. But if you spend $1,000 on making a really good ad that can go viral and maybe get you 25 grand or 50 grand worth of attention, that's way better than having to spend 50 grand to force out your mediocre ad by paying Facebook and putting more money in Mark Zuckerberg's pocket, right?
Exactly.
So that's a great example of growth hacking, is you're kind of gaming the algorithm and getting that free attention, right? Now, growth hacking doesn't always work. Growth hacking is about a lot of low cost, low effort experiments, right? Because, you know, we have 4 comedy ads, maybe 2 of them bomb, but 2 of them go super viral, and that's a bet I'm willing to take, right? Yeah.
No, that's right. And like, look, like I know we're not supposed to talk about cold email on this podcast.
Hey, who said that?
Well, it's like,
Well, we're talking about other things besides cold email.
well, other things besides cold email, but it's the same thing. Like you gotta test so many like low experiment tests. What's a good thing that you can do in cold email that costs nothing? Is to try new copy, try new ways of doing the offer, and that new copy can literally change the result from, let's say you were contacting 500 leads, now you get one.
Yeah, so A/B testing. So coming up with a new campaign, that's also a growth.
Yeah, one call for 200 leads, so you basically double your results.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, real quick, if you're watching these videos because you're trying to learn how to start or scale your marketing campaigns and get more calls on the calendar, maybe you just want us to actually do this for you. That's exactly what we do. We've helped over 400 B2B companies scale their pipeline, scale their revenue, and scale their business. And we do this through a combination of outbound as well as layering in video, paid ads, and inbound. So if you'd like to see how we can help you, you can book a free go-to-market planning session below. We'll actually create a strategy for you completely free and just see if you want us to help implement it. So if you'd like to have us build this whole thing end-to-end for you, click the link in the description, book a quick call, and let's see if we can help you out.
So another growth hack I have would be finding the right partnership. Now, partnerships, that's nothing new, but I think partnerships done right, done intentionally, like I think this is really the epitome of growth hacking, right? Because, you know, with partnerships, 1 + 1 can equal 4, right? So an example of a good partnership that's worked out for me recently is I partnered up with an AI automation agency who doesn't provide marketing services, and he sends his leads to us, right? And people go to him saying, hey, I want to grow my business. I need leads. I need AI, because people mistakenly think that AI is going to fix all their business problems, right? Which doesn't. So they go to him saying that, hey, I need leads. Build an AI that can give me leads. And he says, that's not how it works. AI and automation only works if you already have a working process. You need the fundamentals right. You need to already be able to get leads and get sales, and then automation helps make them more efficient, right? So that's also a common misconception. But anyways, he's been sending me a lot of really high quality leads and calls because we fill a service that he gets asked for that he doesn't do, and vice versa, right? So that's a miniature example, but yeah, there's other ways you can do partnerships as well. I've done a lot of different partnerships in my business, and I haven't really had like a system for it. Like, I mean, I know one day we'll probably hire like a partnerships manager or something, but I've just kind of done it sort of intuitively. And I go to a lot of events and network. I go to a lot of masterminds as well. And I built up quite a network just doing this over 12 years. So yeah, partnerships are a really great thing to tap into, especially if you've been in the game for a while and you already have these relationships. But if you don't, you can just do cold outreach, right? Quick hack for everyone is like, so, okay, write down on a piece of paper today, right? Even while you're listening to this, unless you're driving, then don't do this. But write down your ideal client. Let's say that your ideal client is like someone that owns 5 restaurants, right, or more, right? Like, let's say you do provide services to restaurant owners. Write down all the services and tools they need to run their business. Restaurant needs a POS system. Restaurant needs a marketing company. Restaurant, they need a designer to do the signs and all of that, right? They need an interior designer to work with their restaurant and renovate it and make it look better, right? You can keep going on and on and on, right? Maybe they need a consultant. Maybe sometimes they hire food and beverage consultants, right? So list out all the services and tools that your ideal client needs to run their business that are not related to you. And then all those other services, that could be your lead list to go find referral partners, right? So let's say you're a marketing agency that helps restaurants, go approach POS systems and say, hey, you and I both help restaurants, right? Just say this on LinkedIn. I'll send you my clients that need POS systems, right? And then after, they can send you clients that need marketing. And honestly, it's better if you do it that way, You could say like, hey, let's refer each other clients, but a lot of times it doesn't always work out. If you start out by giving value, which is really like my mantra for partnerships, is start out by giving versus trying to think of what you can take. The worst partnerships in B2B or in any business, they're too one-sided, right? And one-sided partnerships don't last. So start out by giving value. Say, hey, if you DM 10 POS companies on LinkedIn and say, it's funny, when I think of POS, I just think of piece of shit. That's because of how much of a child I am. If you DM 3 pieces of shit on LinkedIn and you say, hey, I've got some restaurant clients that need a POS system. Can I refer them to you? They're going to love you. They're going to say yes. They're going to book a call with you. And they're going to, this plays on a principle of persuasion, which is reciprocity, right? If you give someone a free gift with no expectation, no ask in return, they're going to feel guilty. They're going to feel inclined to give you something back. They're going to say, how can I help you? And you're going to say, oh, well, funny you ask. I provide marketing services. If you have anyone that needs marketing for the restaurant, give them this link to book a call with us, right? And look, you can still ask. You can still say, hey, do you know anyone that needs restaurant marketing services? So I'm not saying that I don't do that as well, but if you do just start out giving value, like people are going to want to help you in return. So that's a great way to figure out like where you can find these partnerships, and just message them on LinkedIn, cold email them, cold call them, whatever. Much easier than you think. So that's a really, really good growth hack as well.
Yeah, no, like the right partnership can change your business. Obviously you've seen that so many times, and we've recently have a couple partners that came on that we think that truly can be long-term partners with, like Inbox Kit, right? Like those guys are probably one of
Inbox Kit's awesome. Yeah, they've been a great partner to work with.
like literally said, whatever you guys need, like we'll help. And now my butt's wet.
Is that when you told the Inbox Kit guys, or are you just saying that because you're at the beach?
No, no, literally the wave crashed on my butt. But
just so you guys know, that's a really bad DM script. Hey guys, my butt's wet. Please give me a partnership.
It's not a good script to get a partnership, but I mean, those guys are great. I mean, but besides the fact that, I mean, they support like the whole business infrastructure for us.
Yeah.
Like they just been like, hey, whatever you guys need to make this work and make this successful.
Yeah.
Like,
See, they've been giving a lot of value to us, right? So now we want to help make sure that their kit is their tool is promoted everywhere, right? So speaking of that, everyone, the link in the description, download Inbox Kit, get your email deliverability sorted. And honestly, it is a pretty epic tool. The next growth hack would be speaking. So in 6 weeks, I'm going to speak at, ironically, Growth Hacking Live, an event hosted by Perry Belcher, who's one of the best marketers. I mean, it's an understatement to call him a marketer. He'd probably slap me for saying that. He's a great business guy, right? He runs a portfolio of like 16 companies, and he's got everyone running all of his companies. He's like able to just like take two months off if he wanted. Meanwhile, he has that many companies, right? But I learned a lot from him about this too. And at his event, he invited me to speak, and my topic's going to be actually about how to make more money from the leads you already have, like activating your CRM and optimizing your sales process. I'm excited for that. And also, we're doing another podcast about that next week. So for everyone listening, make sure that you subscribe and catch that one, because that's going to be a fun one. But anyways, that is a growth hack, right? Look at this. I'm going to go to Dallas, Texas. I'm going to spend an hour speaking. I'm going to spend maybe 4 hours prepping my talk, maybe less, maybe 2 hours, only because I've been doing this 12 years. So it doesn't take me a lot of time to make my presentation, because I just know it so well. I have the frameworks in my mind already. But let's say half a day to work on my script and my slides, and then an hour to speak, right? I'm going to speak in front of 200 7 to 8 figure businesses in a huge conference room, right? I'm sure at least 20 of them will book a call with us. Maybe 10 of them, maybe a lot of them close because they have such high trust because they've seen me speak and give them value and already helped them already at the event. So let's say I get 10 clients. Average client to us could be worth 30 grand lifetime, right? So that's 300 grand of revenue, hypothetically, in 5 hours of my time. So 5 divided by 300, how much math was that? That's basically like 60 grand of revenue generated from each hour. That's back in the napkin math, but you might even do much better than that too. And also, that's not to mention that I'll get invited to speak again. And maybe some people aren't becoming a client, but I get new relationships, new friends, new referral partners, people that invite me to their podcast. Hey, I love your talk. How would you speak on my show? I got 40,000 people that want to hear from you on my YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. So it's even like that could be that, like one talk done well. Look, I've done talks at events or masterminds that didn't really lead to much, but one talk done well could lead to millions of dollars, right? Millions. So I think in terms of like the most asymmetric upside, I do think that distribution and speaking in the right opportunity is probably the best growth hack from that, metric. I'll say this too. One of my mentors, Onyx Segal, who you know because he's one of our clients too, and we grow his SaaS companies, right? And we book meetings for his SaaS company. His business was doing around 20 million a year, just a measly 20 million a year. I'm just kidding. That's pretty good, right? 20 million a year. He's doing awesome, right? And his business went from 20 million to 40 million a year in like a year and a half from one partnership with Robert Kiyosaki. You know Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad? Anik got Robert Kiyosaki to agree to let him in his social media, and he had access to his whole ad account on social media. And Robert Kiyosaki endorsed all of Anik's programs. And just that, well, it wasn't just that he got the endorsement, it was also that he leveraged the shit out of that, right? He used that name, the video, the testimonial everywhere, right? And one partnership, right, led to literally an extra $20 million a year. But if you think about, most businesses are going to, so Anik runs an info business, like, I mean, those are kind of harder to sell, but generally at that point you can sell it, right? Most businesses are going to sell for 1 to 2x revenue, right? So at 20 million a year, it's going to be like 2x revenue, most likely. So he basically got 20 million a year, but he's getting an extra $40 million in enterprise value. When he sells his company, he can get another $40 million because of one relationship he built, right? So I think that's really one of the most powerful growth hacks out there. Let's do one more and then let's wrap it up. You want to talk about direct mail real quick?
Actually, yeah, that would be good. So this is one of the things that it's like you think about, like, when you look at your market, right? What have people gotten a lot of already? Like what is the medium that they've like?
They've received a lot of cold emails, a lot of
like
LinkedIn
all LinkedIn
pitches,
ads,
yeah,
everything like
ads,
that. They're
meta
just
ads,
tired,
meta
right?
ads, right? Yeah.
So go back to the old ways. Like, how do you think about, like, how would you impress somebody, right? How would somebody impress you? Like, imagine getting a gift in your desk, or like a letter in your desk, very personalized to you, shows that you've done your research.
You
And
know what gift I'm gonna get for you?
what?
You know what gift I'm gonna get for you? If I was gonna direct mail prospect you know what I would send you?
You gonna send me fried rice?
No, that's racist. Would you eat it?
I mean, if it's good fried rice.
Yeah, but you would think that's racist if a stranger. That wasn't what I was gonna say.
I mean, if you send me good fried rice,
All right,
I'll eat it.
noted. I was gonna say a new fucking phone, dude, because you gotta, dude. You're making more money than what your phone shows. Your phone is so slow, bro, and it's like cracked to smithereens. Buy a new phone after this podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways, gifts are great, man, because they break through the noise. So, how often do you actually receive not even like a personal handwritten letter, but also an actual like a box? Like, here's the thing: if you if I get a big box in my office delivered, I can't ignore it, and
No.
we'd all be curious. Probably all my team and all my staff would be like, "What the hell is this?" Right? And the security guard or the receptionist would probably be like obligated to like bring it to me. They might be thinking like, what is this, like a bomb or something, right? If I was like super famous, they wouldn't probably bring it to me. But generally, they'd bring it to you, right? They would get past the gatekeeper, right? And you can do funny things, right? It could be personal, right? Like you can have fun with it, right? Like let's say that you're targeting a roofing company, give them like roof shingles, right? Like just something funny, right?
Yeah. Actually, I was talking to the company that was sending samples of their building material, really nice up wrap.
Oh, beautiful, yeah.
With like a personalized letter to their target audience, and each one of their contract worth like multiple six figures. So,
dude, I love that. Here's what we should do for our business, right? So we sell leads, we help clients, we help B2B companies get more appointments, right? And we also build people a free campaign, right? Which you can also get if you click the link in the description and check that out. You know, we do a free campaign for everyone who wants to consider working with us. But imagine we send people direct mail, big ass box that's empty, right? We want the big box to get their attention, but it's going to be empty inside, and it's just going to be a letter. But there's going to be a $20 bill taped to the outside of it, and the letter will say, "Here's the first $20 we're giving you. We would like to send you 20 times this amount." Actually, no, that's not enough money. Whatever. We would like to send you thousands more of these if you hire us to generate leads and fill your pipeline, right?
Mhm.
And then put a QR code on it to a funnel, which you could even put their picture in the funnel, their logo in the funnel. You could automate that with Clay now really easily, right?
yeah.
And then the funnel can actually have a little video, and then they're gonna 100% book a call after they see that, right? Oh, one thing that we were gonna do for we made a strategy recently for one of our clients that does commercial carpet cleaning, and we basically found a local bakery that can make custom cakes for like $30 each, and we put a QR code on the cake, right? So we send a cake to the office. Because imagine this: if we send a cake to your office, all your staff is going to be excited. Whose birthday is it? Oh, no one's birthday. Just these guys are trying to sell me something. But first of all of them are going to be talking about it, right? So now you have their whole office talking, and they're going to be like, "Whoa, this is such great marketing!" And also that would work really well. That was actually a carpet cleaning example, which I think is kind of cool because that's like a local business has to kind of build that trust. Like as a local business, your advantage is you have like that, like, you know, community feel, right? But at the end of the day, everyone's going to be talking about it. They're going to, and then branding is also about associations, right? So they're going to associate a good time they had, like a cool kind of quirky thing that happened at their day at work. They're going to associate that a positive experience with you and your brand, right? And they're going to go home, tell their spouse, tell everyone else, right? And I guarantee if the owner's not already going to book a call with you, the team would be egging them on to book a call with you, right? So we got to do that as well for ourselves, because I think that'll also really work in our niche too.
Yeah, we gotta get really good cakes though. I like tiramisu.
It can't be shit cakes, right?
Can't be bad cake.
And we also have to, we don't want to get sued, right? If someone's allergic to peanuts, no peanuts in it, right?
Yeah, we'll have to make it clear. Hey, gluten-free, peanut, no peanuts, nothing. No, everything.
Exactly. What if the vegan complains it's not vegan?
Well, we need.
No, they're not our ICP. They're not ideal client.
We need to get a vegan cake at that point.
Vegan cake, yeah, that's good. No, but anything. Yeah, rule number one in marketing is get attention. So this also would work really well with a very high value prospect. Like if you have deals that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, you could splurge on a $50 custom cake and the postage, right? Like easily. But that obviously costs a little bit more money and a little bit more creativity and effort. So and logistics, like you need someone to like talk to local bakeries and all that. So it's not a crazy amount of work, but imagine you land one $100K deal from that. That's growth hacking at its finest. All right, guys, we're gonna end the podcast there. We're losing light, but hope you've enjoyed this growth hacking series. Let us know if you like more content like this. Let us know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you're listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you then.
Hey, I'm AJ Quesada, co-founder of Revenue Boost. Really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, make sure to leave me a comment and definitely subscribe right now so that you're notified of all the cool stuff we're doing, all the cool tactics, tips, and strategies that we share here on the channel. We help B2B companies scale to 7 to 8 figures. We've helped over 400 clients, and we can help you too. And we share some amazing stuff on the channel here. So really hope you enjoyed. And if you do, let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe.